Okay, we just had our first shutdown. I'm going to show you what's going on. It seems to be in this, once the engine gets to motor gets to a certain point, it just heats up, I guess, and starts to go out on me. So here's what's going on. So you notice it starts right back up. And I'm not even going that fast or pushing it. There we go. It just went out. So now as soon as I stop, it'll go again. See, look at that. So there, just stopped again. So see if I can get up this hump here. Okay, I'm going to turn, there, just died again. So I'm going to turn around and head back. This is not working. So that's going to have to do it as far as what happens in the shutdowns. It probably won't give me any trouble going down. For some reason, it only happens under some load. Oh, it's dead again. Okay, so as soon as I stop, like that, see, it works again. So, anything you can help me with on that would be muchly appreciated. I'll go over this. There. It always seems to be related to some kind of a bump. Or anyway, as you can see, it's pretty muddy up here. It's dead again. Okay. But it doesn't seem to be doing it on the road. It's just up here. And it has to do with a certain, I don't know, longevity of how long it's been on, or the heat in it, or whatever. But, you know, I've just climbed about 4,000 feet. So, well, not even 4,000 feet. Let's see, I'm up about 6. Yeah, I've climbed about 4,000 feet. We're about 6 now. And so for some reason it's just mostly under a little load and a bump. And as you can see, it's random. So there we go. Hit a bump again. So I coast to a stop. All right, and then it works. And the good part is it doesn't abandon me somewhere, but it's sure a pain in the butt. It's really limited my off-road riding abilities. And I don't have a place closer to home to test it to see. But yeah, I was hitting all the bumps I could find coming up. And for some reason it's right up in this area that it starts giving me trouble. And it doesn't matter whether it's a sunny day or humid day, it doesn't so very bizarre, but anyway, I'm going slow because it's very, very slippery, this mud. Um, Okay, I don't know if this video is going to be able to help you at all. It's certainly, I don't know how, but anyway. Okay, just died again. Okay. That's all it takes to set it up, to reset it. So I don't get it. The only thing I can think is it may be something to do with the thermal overload on it, so it gets hot enough here, but not to trip it or what. But it didn't start happening until I got it real hot coming up one day, high speed up Haleakala Highway, and then oh shit. Coming up Haleakala Highway at high speed and then into a heavy wind, and I went farther up the mountain than I normally do to go to a store, and the bike just overheated and shut down, and you know, you could feel the engine was hot, the battery was really warm, and it sat for about a half an hour. Finally I called my wife and had her pick me up in the truck. And then once we loaded in the truck and drove home, unloaded the bike and got it in my garage, and it was working again. So I don't know whether it's a faulty thermal overload or what the hell. But anyway, I'm open to suggestions. Yeah, so the motor I have is the QS138, I believe. And you know, it's about a year and a half old right now. So okay, so okay, it's dead again. So you can see how many times it's going out, but then it starts right back up. I was hoping by disconnecting the battery it might reset it, but that apparently didn't work. And you know, I found a relay that was loose, tightened that down. That didn't fix it. I went through the wiring again. So yeah, I'm just I'm at a loss. So yeah, and I bought this from you guys in January of 2024. So I don't think I've got a warranty on it, but I do need to figure out what's wrong. So anyway, thanks, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, so now you've seen what it does. I don't think that it's much help, but I would appreciate it if you guys could send me schematics of the motor, the wiring diagram, and also can you give me information on that thermal overload system in the motor? Because I'm thinking that it has to do with the buildup of heat to a point, and then the thermal overload is not completely resetting, because I'm assuming I have a thermal overload and it's automatic reset, because you know, when I did overload it that one Sunday, and then the next day I started having all these problems. So yeah, if you guys could give me as much information on that kind of stuff, I would really appreciate it. Um, and anything else you can come up with. I'm going to try and do a couple different techniques. I'm going to try and run the bike back up there to Poly once the rains stop, and then I'm going to, as soon as I get to the top, I'm going to just stop and let the bike cool down and see if that affects where the bike starts kicking out again. Because if I sit for a half an hour or more, it may not happen. You know, it may be that that's just the point where the heat goes off, and if that's the case, then it's a pretty good indication that it is the thermal overload. And if, you know, then I can test it, and it may be that I'll get farther up the mountain, then it'll start happening. Anyway, those are the only things I can do to test it. There's no way to test it with multimeters or anything that I know of. And you know, and I'm assuming it's in the motor. I mean, maybe it's in the controller that is going out. You know, but right now, I'm looking at the thermal overload. It could be maybe that after a certain time period, the controller starts heating up and it's affected by the jolts in the road. It doesn't seem likely because it's pretty much a solid state. But that thermal relay or thermal overload with the automatic reset, I could see that being a problem. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to say is that, you know, I went through the bike yesterday before I took it out to ride. This was a test. And so I took it out and I found any place I could find where there were a lot of bumps and everything. And I just cannot get it to trip, you know, so it doesn't happen, you know, it seems to be there's a certain amount of time the engine has to run under a certain amount of load. So it's not like I can get it to go off. I mean, I've gone over these diversion ditches that go across this one road that would be enough to jolt just about anything at a pretty good speed. And I can't get it to trip, but as soon as we get to Poly, it seems like that's the distance that I have to ride before it starts to happen. That's why I think it has something to do with the thermal overload. And I could be completely wrong, but I just wanted you guys to know that. So anyway, I'll let you guys go, and thank you for your assistance, and I will talk to you later. Aloha.